So, welcome back to Fanfiction Idea, where I talk about ideas that I may or may not write in the future. And this one has actually been like a thought in my mind, but it's recently kind of simmered into my brain since I started rewatching episodes of Black Butler again. So, as you can see, Black Butler with Batman Gotham by Gaslight. Interesting crossover. I mean, like, if you were gonna have a legit Batman crossover, it'd be kind of difficult because of the timelines. But I kind of thought, well, how about if it just crossed over with, Gotham by Gaslight universe? Like, you could easily just say, oh, it's in the DC Elseworld story. Just do that. Anyway. So the story is, just to be clear, if you're wondering, is this more taking place after the movie, the animated film Gotham by Gaslight, or is it following the comic? My idea is that it follows more of the comic than it does the original, two comics of Gotham by Gaslight and its sequel, Master of the Future. It follows those stories. Actually, no. It actually is set in between Gotham by Gaslight and Master of the Future. It's like it's like a missing second part between those two. That was my idea. Anyway. What was I going to say? So this idea, pretty much what it is, what happens is that Bruce Wayne has, he gets a call from Gordon, and he says, well, look, we heard this, one of your shipping companies has apparently found a box full of human body parts. There's human body parts in one of your docks, and one of your captains reported to us. So, Mr. Wayne, what the hell's going on? And Wayne's like, yeah, I want to know that too. Where did these crates come from? And he's like, from the Phantom Hive group. Because now, there's a shipping deal between Phantom Hive and Wayne. And the Waynes. And, the Waynes and the Phantom Hives knew each other. They knew each other, but they weren't exactly friends. They ran in the same social circles, but they never really met face-to-face. Because the Phantom Hives were a lot younger than the Waynes, so the Phantom Hives were still, doing missions also for the Queen, but they knew about the Waynes at the time, during a few visits, but they're never really close. So, Batman, Bruce is like, well, I'm gonna go figure this out and see what, the Phantom Hives are doing these days. So, he and Alfred jump on a boat, go to London, and he's now Batman stalking around London, and he's just thinking about, the Ripper cases and all that, and how he solved them. But meanwhile, Ciel and Sebastian are on the trail of... they're on the trail as well of who's leaving these body parts all over the place. Turns out there's somebody robbing graves and making makeshift monsters out of them. That person is none other than Hugo Strange. Yes, I used a version of a Gotham by Gaslight version of Hugo Strange. You're probably wondering, well, there was a Hugo Strange in the movie. Well, mine's a little different. You see, in this one, I went back to Hugo Strange during his, before they made him, the head of Arkham and what have you. I made him more like the mad scientist, when he made the Monster Men kind of thing. That was my idea, is that, he's making monsters, and, he's calling himself the modern Prometheus, and he's, obsessed with Mary Shelley's work. So he's basically building monsters. Meanwhile, Bruce Wayne claims that he's visiting London and it's become dreadful in London, in Gotham, and I just needed a change of pace to London. And I wanted to have them have Ciel and Bruce Wayne to have this conversation, and both of them kind of talking about their past, because obviously they both lost their parents to tragedy, and they both use that pain to make into something different. Although Batman literally became his own demon, whereas Ciel bonded to one. So and Batman still suspects that he doesn't know that that there's this guy running around making basically making a Monster Man. So he thinks Ciel's a part of it. So he sneaks into the Phantom Hive Manor. He sneaks into it. Has trouble taking down a lot of the servants because Mayrin and the rest of them are badasses, if you guys forget. They may look comical and what have you, but they are total effing badasses. So he has a little trouble, taking them down silently. And then Sebastian comes along, kicks the shit out of him, and you may be thinking, whoa, 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 Batman gets the shit kicked out of him by a butler? That's not right. Well, one, this is an alternate universe. Two, let's be real here. Batman would probably get the shit kicked out of him if he ran into a demon who can literally kill angels and nearly kill Grim Reapers. Let's be real, people. And yeah, like I had it that Sebastian gets the drop on Batman, and even Batman's like, what the fuck? Like, that would be his whole thing, is that there's no way, you know, no one human could get the drop on me like that. So he kind of suspects that there's more to Sebastian. But yeah. Also, I wanted to have this great moment between Alfred and Sebastian, and they're talking about their masters, and Alfred says, well, sir, I'm just simply one hell of a butler. And Sebastian's like, motherfucker, that's my line. Anyway, yeah, so CL figures that, like, he already knew that Bruce Wayne was Batman, because he was like, well, we've been hearing all these reports of, like, a masked vigilante, a masked monster jumping around the rooftops, and we just kind of figured out when, you know, that looks a lot like the Bat guy from Gotham, and then Bruce Wayne is in London at the same time. What do you think I am, Bruce? Stupid? So, Batman and CL and Sebastian all team up to find who's behind, and of course it's Hugo Strange, but the monster he's building is Solomon Grundy. In this version of Grundy I had in mind, he's like a Frankenstein monster. He was a man known as Cyrus Gold, but now, you know, Cyrus Gold's brain is now in this hulking giant monster's body. And not only that, Hugo Strange is actually making an army of monster men for Ra's al Ghul, a man who Sebastian encountered once. Also at this time, there's also, you know, the romance between Talia, you know, there's a budding romance between Talia, who's making herself look like a foreign dignitary from Pakistan. She's made, you know, she's falsified those documents like, oh, she's a royal dignitary or noblewoman, and Bruce is kind of enthralled by her. You know, army of monster men coming to destroy both London and Gotham, so, yeah, it's all fun. So there you go. You maybe, yeah, and you're like, no Joker, no nothing? I was like, yeah, I don't need the Joker for this kind of story. Besides, it's a whole, the fun thing about some of the alternate universes, especially Gotham by Gaslight, is that you could really play with a lot of the villains. I mean, that's what they did in the movie. They took a lot of fun with the characters because it's an alternate universe. So yeah, I followed, instead of the movie, I followed the comic version first and foremost. That gave me a little more leeway to play with a lot of the characters. So yeah. So there you go, guys. That's pretty much my idea for. Also, yeah, I did have Grell in here, but more as a comic relief. And also, Batman's like, what the fuck have I got myself into? Anyway, so there you go, guys. Pretty much my my fanfiction idea for a Batman Black Butler crossover. So you guys tell me in the comments below. What'd you guys think of it? Did you guys like it? Hate it? Comment below. Let me know. And once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.